Okay, everybody, welcome back to the after show for episode number 52 of Final Boss TV. We were talking about Blood DKs and Guardian Druids. And here we go. Boop. Hello, everybody.
Oh, hey, good to
Hello.
see everyone again.
I had a question that come in already on the Twitters. Came in from, let me make sure it's a good question. Oh. So Big Fat Cow on Twitter wants to know, Ari, what's the best tank? Bears or bears? Also,
Well, we know the answer to that.
any reason to use anything other than pulverize at level 100?
Without knowing all the encounter mechanics, the only best I can say is use Pulverize unless there's a specific reason to use Guardian of the Loon for something that's really bad that you need to dodge.
Right. But Bristling Fur, don't even...
No. Even if Pulverize Master gets nerfed, still take Pulverize.
Yeah, I don't know. And the only thought I think of Bristling Fur ever being a thing would be literally if you are doing, like, bomb-soaking mechanic stuff from, like, you know, Heroic Lei Shen.
Well, Animus.
Yeah, or Animus soaking, right? Like the balls on Heroic Malkarok, maybe. Just to help, like, basically, like, adding on multiple levels of damage mitigation, right?
Siegecrafter.
Siegecrafter. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. That's niche enough, I wonder, but at a 3-second window, that's like... I don't know.
No, it's... I mean, after a 30% damage reduction from Bark Skin and the ridiculous effective health and 70% damage reductions from Survival Instincts on a 2-minute recharge, if you need Bristling Fur, then
Might be a problem.
something's horribly, horribly wrong in terms of tank points.
Yeah, I hope it gets turned into something else, to be really honest. I think right now it just looks like a placeholder but we'll see.
I got a question for both of our guests. This
Go
one
for
just
it.
This one just comes from me.
Yep.
So, I know you guys have been so rating and encounter and class focused, and that's awesome. But I really want to know from both of you, and Reniat, you got to make something up if you don't have a straight up answer. I want to know from both of you, what are you most looking forward to in Warlords that is not dungeon or raid related?
Garrison.
You
Sorry.
gotta-
Oh, you mean him? Oh, sorry, not me.
Yeah. Let's go with Reniat first here.
Oh
Sure.
gosh. I think the new model characters are going to be good.
That was the robot voice. I like it. All right. New models. What about you, Ari?
I mean, I'm excited to get a new model for my Night Elf, but I never really see my Night Elf model, like, ever.
There you go. There it is.
So, Garrison's going to be pretty awesome. I'm actually trying to stay away from doing them on beta because I want to have that authentic experience the first time I do
Me
it.
too, Fred. Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
And I tried to get into I'm trying to get into the lore for Warlords, but it's like...
Don't. No.
Very
So-
Ari. Nobble and I talked last night about war crimes and stuff for like 5 hours. Don't let him have the headache. Just play the game. We surmise that if you want to really care about the lore for Warlords, go for it. But otherwise, just play the game. Just enjoy all the new shiny stuff. Let him have the
Alright.
headache and take
Alright.
all the Excedrin and Advil. That's okay.
I mean,
Honestly-
I just want Illyria back. That's all I want.
Oh God, no! Don't. We talked about that last night too. Novel, help me. Oh gosh, we had like a
Sorry.
good 20-minute discussion.
I'll just stay.
about
I'll just
that.
stay with Garrisons.
Yeah!
And, responsiveness. How's that?
Yeah. I like that. Although those new Night Elf female models are going to be pretty good.
No, yeah. I mean, I said it again in the main show that I think they obviously have the art team on this huge VU kick. VU is visual upgrade or visual updates. They're making all the new models, right? And we're going to get more stuff coming because I do believe that Worgen and Goblin come with like 6.1 maybe, I would imagine, a couple months after launch. I would be remiss in saying that I can't imagine they are not going to look at Druid forms with the same technology. I can't imagine they would not, because as a character model, every other character in the game can see their models and their new animations and their cool swankiness and their awesome walks and their faces. But bears still have the same painted teeth Cats still
Hey,
attack.
those are new models. Those bear
Well,
and cat
those
models
are-
are not the vanilla models.
those are
Believe me,
rad.
I
Yeah,
they're
remember
the-
when they put
They're
those
the
in.
5-year-old ones. The
They're
Moonkin's
still-
the one that needs the worst.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
the Moonkin
too.
one is 100% the worst.
I don't know if you'll get like differentiating male and female forms of those, but I definitely feel like you'll get new models. I can't imagine you would not, because giving kitty cats the Claw of Shrivala option to have that new model, even though it's just reskinned Worgen, right? Still is like, well, where's the Moonkin? Where's the kitty cat? Where's the bear? Where's the tree? Right? Like,
Go finish it. Go ahead, babe.
no, I was gonna say, I mean, like that. I can't imagine they're not gonna do that. They just have to. I think that's on their menu. I can't imagine Chris is like, nah, Druid models are fine. Moonkin looks like it's from Warcraft 2.5. It's okay.
I mean, I don't know. If you read some of the recent comments on those models, they were planning, the original plan was to release the new models with one face and put all of the rest of the faces in later. I'm serious. This is legit in the art blog that they most recently wrote. I can
Yeah?
find the link. And I read that and
horrible.
my mind was blown. And it was just because, and I hate to sort of badmouth the awesome information that the devs give us. Like, I love that we can see a little further into their process, but it really shocked me because
Yeah.
I honestly thought there was no way that they would do that they would have considered them unfinished. But if you read the latest art blog, they were going to do that, and then they said, okay, we obviously, from the feedback that we've gotten, we can't do that, so we are going to, kick it into gear and put some new faces in there for you guys. But that's really nuts, honestly. So I'm not going to claim that I know anything about what the art team is thinking, because clearly I was wrong on the one point. So
Yeah, I don't.
Actually, and something that Curse just brought up in chat that's art related is we haven't heard anything about the class specific, like the new customizable things like the Librams and
Oh yeah.
idols and quivers and that stuff. We haven't heard anything about that for.
I mean, I'm
many-
actually, I'm
many
honestly
months.
fine with that stuff becoming like a content patch.
Oh, yeah,
later
I
on.
agree.
Right.
I would rather have new race models than
I mean,
that stuff coming in launch.
There's so much being launched with Warlords of Draenor. It is the largest expansion in the history of this game, from all different angles. So
Oh, yeah.
the fact that we're even getting new character models for male and females of all the original launch races in the first place is probably one of the largest undertakings you can even imagine for any large company like this to ever do with their game that's been out for like almost 10 years. Because that is like, I mean, League does it with their models, but they take like 3 to 4 months for one.
And they only have one set of animations.
Right.
Whereas
And-
yeah,
every
no,
race
it's
has
a huge
X
undertaking.
number of class animations.
exactly.
And what they have to do for the faces is because all of they explained it in the blog, and it makes a lot of sense because
Yeah.
they have to actually remap. The old faces were just like paint.
They
It
were
was like
paint.
an image.
Yeah.
And the new faces actually have all these different points and stuff that move dynamically. So they
Yep,
have
they
to
have bones.
they have to redo all of that for all the new faces. So I get that it's a really big undertaking. And I also said this in chat, but I want to have it in the video so that people
Right.
can rage at me in the comments. Could not care less that Blood Elves are not getting upgraded at launch. In my opinion, they shouldn't have wasted the time upgrading Draenei, because those models are so much more recent and so much more attractive than the vanilla models. I would have been happy if they had put all of their time and effort into just upgrading the vanilla models. And if they patch Blood Elves in later and they look
Oh, yeah.
good, awesome. They can patch them in later. Sounds
I mean,
fine.
what Nobble brought up, I think was it Nobble that said about it in that thing? I mean, they needed to have Draenei updated because this expansion
Yeah.
is all Draenei Orcs. That's fine, but Blood Elves are like, that can come in a patch. Like, why? I mean, they're not really busted old models. They're
Right.
BC models, right? They're still like old, but they don't look like a human
They're not vanilla
female.
old.
Yeah, and that's different than I think patching in faces. I think that
Sure.
doing it across the board in a patch would be, I think, fine
Yeah.
later on. So.
The fact that we're even getting it, I think, is a big thing that people don't understand. Is like, we could have not got this. We could have still had pizza feet and like 3 fingers that don't move. Like we're getting it in the first place, so we should be thankful that we're even doing this, because that's like, that's so much art, man.
Easy trap to fall into. Thankful for anything that the new. I mean, I agree with you in a way, but it's
Sure,
a
I-
very dangerous trap of thinking to fall into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
I
I
mean,
haven't.
our new models have teeth now. Like that. What the hell? Like, it's so ridiculous to me that all these models look so awesome. So.
They look pretty good.
So
I
questions
have
for
a
Blood? Yeah,
question.
what do you got? I have one
Well, I
from
have
the
a
email
question
too.
for Ari specifically,
Oh,
So
but I don't know if you want to go first, Barry.
Oh, I was gonna say I have a question that came in for Blood DKs, and now Brendan's been like having like his secondhand fiddle with these because I guess the Blood DK community is like, meh. Represent. This comes in from Kev Cool on US Sageras. How do you feel about the new racials for Blood? I guess I would assume across the board of racials from different player races, right? Are there better
since,
ones or weaker ones? Yeah.
There are definitely some. Okay, to put it in context, racials are all pretty still weak. I mean, they're not game breaking. They never have been,
Right.
except for maybe tier 15 and troll. But we're not going to get into that. So, but I am a little disappointed with. Pretty much, in order to be truly optimal as it stands, you're going to have to pretty much pick Blood Elf, just because the 20 RP. Just because we have so much bad downtime issues, and the fact that we don't benefit from crit bonus damage or healing, and we the effective health. And again, this is dependent on stuff that is still not set in stone at all. The effective health from endurance is just not valuable at all because effective health isn't very valuable as it currently in beta. If they do what I hope and make effective health important again down the road, with mythic content and once things are balanced again, that would be different. So I'm hoping that happens. But as it stands, I'm not going to be able to play a Tauren if I want to play optimally, and that makes me a sad cow because I've always been Tauren, and that's like I visualize my character as a Tauren, so it'd suck to have to switch just because the racials are now completely terrible for it.
I mean, I don't like bringing this up, to be honest. I mean, it is a question we could definitely answer, and there's different people think about differently for racials, but racials, if they're supposed to all be the same in power, for combat boosting racials, why are they even there?
Yeah.
And if they're supposed to have some sort of power influx for certain classes, why isn't that an in-game choice still tied to maybe even professions? Because it's a player choice at that point, not a money choice. It also restricts you for like, I want to be this race and this class, but then this racial is actually better for it, so I can't, right? Like, it's just a weird thing. I mean, if it's supposed to be cosmetic only racials just to make you pick whatever and play whatever you want, I don't even like the fact that racials still have any combat benefit whatsoever. Because they're all so small, why even have them? Like 1% crit.
Yeah.
Ah! Like, what?
But you're not
why?
optimal unless you have that. That's
Exactly, though. Like the 2% avoidance that Night Elves have had, like, that's been huge.
yeah,
But, like,
it's really good.
I mean...
Yeah, I think Ghostcrawler mentioned that a while ago before he left, about how he really wished they could just scrap the system, but they're just too tied to it now. I guess I don't really see how it's tied to it, but I mean, in my opinion, I think we could just get rid of it.
I think they should be gone too. Like, racials could be only cosmetic, like wisp form, cosmetic stuff like that. Even profession enhancing, like the cow one. Tauren can pick herbs better or something like that. That's fine. Draenei can use jewel crafting better. That's fine. They're not combat benefiting ones. They're flavorful and neat, but racials sort of they pigeonhole people into playing certain race combinations with a class, and that is limiting on like the fun factor, I think.
I mean, I feel like the racial question bears some resemblance to the tagging discussion that went on Twitter, where it's one of those things where it may not make a lot of sense, and we may think that it just is worse gameplay to have these racials that affect combat,
Right.
but it's so core to WoW that it's never gonna come out. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we can talk about it, and every single person that we get on the show, and probably everyone in chat too, is going to be in agreement that racials that affect combat are just really silly because all they do is just put a bar around the classes that you can play and that you don't feel as good playing. But I mean, the races that you want to play, it constrains your aesthetic choices. But
Right. Yep.
this has been brought up to the devs so many times,
I
and the
know.
answer really boils down to it's that way because the game is WoW. I mean, that's honestly what the answer. There is no logical answer for it. It's because that's the way WoW works. And I guess sometimes you just kind of have to accept that. And I honestly think combat racials, there is no logical like gameplay positive reason why some races are just going to be better at some classes than others.
And some scale better into late game. So,
Yeah.
like, you might even race change after a tier or two because a certain one is going to be better for you than the one you picked originally, Which sure, that Trekkie said, racials give Blizzard money, but that's like a really, I think, damning quality of your game.
They constrain your loot drops when they have to do with the types of weapons you can use, although those are going away, so I guess that's not really relevant.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And they scrapped profession bonuses. I don't know why they couldn't scrap racial bonuses for combat.
Yeah, I would think that professions are more hard to get.
Yeah, I would say professions are more interesting to leave in than.
Well, that's what I said too. I was
They're
the
player
adverse.
choice.
They're player choice. I love player choice. I've always been a big proponent of that. Like, if you want your player power in your game and you're min-maxing that level and this profession do more for you, do it. Right? That's fine. But if you don't care about that, then it shouldn't be a big deal. Right? But having money choice versus player choice in game, I think, is interesting, and I don't like it. So.
Yeah. I just don't like anything that makes a player feel like they are picking between playing the way that they want and feeling as though they're being the best player that they can. And I know there are a lot of things in the game that make you choose between that, but in terms of how your character looks, you should be able to choose the way your character looks, and you should not feel like you should be locked into looking a certain way. So it was a really big frustration for me, but of course I was Alliance, so we were the lesser racials.
Yeah. But now the whole thing about having us like on both sides of the fence having equal racials, they want all racials to be like the same benefit, which just can't be possible. Exactly. Well, they're all the same basically. Like Tauren and dwarves are the same, and human and orc are like the same. Like they're all like the same on both sides now. But the power involved in those are not the same. They can't be. It's impossible. If they'd be the same, they'd be the same stat bonuses for all classes, but they're not. So like the crit damage will get better with more crit. Right now, the versatility one for humans is just better because it's just flat damage, right? Like, that's just math. So, pasta sauce. Picking a race is player choice.
Player choice before you start. I mean, do you really want to give people that feeling of you're very new and you're just getting into WoW and you're picking like the race in the class that you want to play, and then you realize you did it wrong like 90 hours in, or
that would be
5 hours in,
terrible.
or however long it takes you to get to max level. And I know that the whole idea of did it wrong is like it's one of those tough things to bring up in a discussion. But with old stuff like I mean, there are some racials that are just obviously less good than others, and that's not a very good feeling to have that racial that's not really doing
This
anything.
question can be answered and determined by the shareholder.
Oh, jeez.
See, honestly, whenever the answer of but it makes Blizzard more money comes up, I literally just close my eyes and block that person's argument out because it's such a worthless argument. Sorry.
Yeah, they make enough money, guys. They don't need this. I mean, I'm still been a really big thing that they'd make
just
more.
Hilarious.
If it's a money thing, they'd make more if race changes and server changes were cheaper.
It's also just a cop-out argument. Yeah.
Microtransactional nickel and diming makes so much more money than this $55 paywall that you're like, what? I want to play with my friends on a Horde account, but I'm Alliance right now on a different server, but it's $55? Pass.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I wish would change, and I think we may see that.
Those prices need to come down. Like, it makes recruiting so hard, especially when like all the huge overwhelming majority of the raiding population is Horde now. Like, getting to come back to Alliance for a Mythic raid, $55. Like, that's
Yep.
It should just be the same price. And I know this was brought up to the devs at BlizzCon last year.
Yep.
And I think we might see it. Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's something that the door is totally closed on.
In any
like
of
making server and faction the same service.
Same service.
So like one price for either transferring faction or transferring server or doing both. Like both of them included. That would be nice because then that would just remove the higher financial barrier to changing factions. And they would still make money, so it's not like...
And I know that they put, what they say about like the boost to 90, making it, the $60 price point is to make it not so it's abusable. But like that's I think is fine because you're paying for this whole amount of time that you're not using like leveling up. If you need to do that, that's okay. But I think the limiting factor of the race change is kind of a cosmetic only thing to some degree. Granted, racials come into this, but the server and faction transfer thing, I just feel like, I've thrown so much random $5 here, $10 here at like microtransaction games over the years. But looking at $25, I'm like, no, thank you. Right? And I think it's not just not my perspective. I just can't imagine why they wouldn't, if it's a money-making thing, they'd make more if it was cheaper and more accessible to more people. But We'll see. And with Warlords, that's the whole big thing too, is so much is changing with this game and the new race models, and if you want to go back and forth from Alliance or Horde because of, whatever, because the model looks cool, or one side you want to play that one than that one, it's a lot of money, man. I just feel like it would be a lot more fun for the community in general if it was not like this huge paywall. It's scary, man.
Not be surprised if we see a change to that when the whole, Warlords pre 6.0 patch announcement comes out, like
Yeah.
accompanying thing saying like, I know we're kind of messing up your entire rating life, but in order to make it easier for you, we're going to discount these services for X amount of weeks or whatever,
Right.
in order to make it easier for you to find something that you enjoy.
Yeah, see, jibber jabber. I mean, I'm a League of Legends player myself. I have to like go on a different game tangent. And that game's free to play, but I've spent hundreds of bucks over the last 2+ years. But I'm not.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm not
Like,
throwing
so much
like
money.
$50 at a game at one point in time. I'm throwing like $10 here.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want this skin. I'll throw $5 at it. Whatever. Because it's a mental thing. It's a wall thing.
I mean,
right?
Heroes is already doing that for me, and
Heroes,
it's not even
exactly.
out of alpha. Like
I spent. I think I put 80 on Heroes already. But that was to like get all the heroes and crap, like, right? I don't have time to like play it to get all the gold. That's different. But you can buy a hero for what, like $5, $7? Yeah, that's the whole thing. About 55, like 25 or $30 is like, woo, scary, man. It's a lot of money.
Well, I have a specific question for Ari if we're moving along from this topic.
Yeah, go
with
for
that-
it. I'm just a lot of this is because I like talking about this stuff because I want to see feedback in chat room, and I'm talking about all this stuff too. I mean, Trekkie and Archer are still talking about racials and stuff, but that's fine. I like seeing the feedback and reading that.
for,
Yeah.
I'm
for
gonna
chat,
address
what it's
the-
worth. Trekkie's right. The rest of you are wrong.
What? About what?
They're arguing about the
There's a
increased
chat.
They're
damage.
arguing about crit damage, and
Crit damage,
Trekkie
yeah.
is right for everything except for the crit meta, which works different. So Trekkie's right. The rest of you are wrong. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Shots, right?
Drop
Somebody
the
in
mic.
chat brought up this terrible argument that I want to address because we hear it all the time,
Sure.
especially since we do this show and we bring on top end raiders and we talk about optimization. And there's a pretty fair argument to be made that optimization doesn't really matter unless you're in a top end guild and you're pushing the very limits of
this
things.
one.
And that's fine. I realize that it doesn't have any effect on your play unless you are very much in the top 1%. But the fact that it doesn't have any effect on your play doesn't mean that that's not what people enjoy. You are well within your right from the most casual player out there who just hit 90 to the most top-end raider to care about having the right gems, having the right flasks, and having racials that you feel are strong. It doesn't matter if it doesn't affect the damage that you're putting out. What players enjoy is very often doing what they feel is the strongest for their character. And even if they could get more of a gain out of playing better or having a better rotation, it doesn't matter if you have more fun in the game optimizing to what you want to do. And it doesn't mean you have to, but there are a lot of people who have more fun optimizing. And that's what I'm saying the game should give you the option of doing.
Right.
And so I really dislike this argument that you aren't allowed to care about optimizing if you're not in a top end guild. That's what the argument is, that you aren't allowed to care and you shouldn't think it matters. And I think that if you find that more fun, it doesn't matter if you're not in a top end guild. Tons and tons of people find it fun. And it's obvious that that's what most people who play World of Warcraft find fun because everyone watches this show and reads guides and cares about what the theory crafters are doing.
Right.
Sorry, not all our audience is in top end guilds.
So,
they
I
still
mean-
think it's fun.
Yeah, the point of
I
this
mean,
show, it was...
I'm not even in a top end guild, so
No,
there
but
you
that's-
go.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
this
like-
is like such a bad argument. I'm sorry. I
point-
had to address it.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. And I think that there's been lots of different like feedback we've gotten in YouTube comments or Twitter arguments or whatever, even like emails and like even on like my in-game email on my server, right? Anna and I have both gotten that. Whereas the whole point of Final Boss TV was to bring on these incredible theory crafters, pivotal heads in the community, and top-end raiders to let you hear their take on the game, their experience, their knowledge to help you decide things, quell rumor, give you concrete feedback. Not to tell you that this is how they play and you should do it too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a huge misunderstanding. Why the show is geared toward the top end game. My music keeps turning off. What is happening here, friends?
Yeah.
Is to give you their feedback and perspective. It's like interviewing an actor, right? If you're interviewing a top actor, you want to know like what his feedback is to become a good actor, or what his thoughts are toward it, because if you want to be an actor too someday, not like I should only act like Tom Cruise.
It doesn't matter.
that
You
your Tom
shouldn't. You
Cruise
shouldn't even watch
impersonation?
those.
No, I
It's
can't
like
do it.
there's this double-ended argument. I hate this idea of you're doing it wrong applied to anybody. And this is like the opposite of telling a casual player that they're doing it wrong if they're the wrong race, which I also think is terrible. Like you also shouldn't tell that casual player they're doing it wrong if they care. It's dumb. Everybody
Yep.
should play the game the way that they want to.
Yep.
So. Yeah, and it's he's saying that I twisted his words, but I'm sorry, but that's what you said. People can care about anything that they want to, and if they care about having racials, I think it's very, very reasonable that players have more fun in the game if they feel they have the most powerful racial. That's a big draw to World of Warcraft in general.
Yeah, and what Bear said is totally an absolute thing. One of the best resto druids for theory crafting in the community is Hamlet, and he doesn't even play the game really anymore. He just knows how it works.
He raids 10s, but yeah.
Yeah, sure,
He raids
but
10s
like
twice a week.
but in like the realm of like the Method, Blood Legion, Midwinter era, like he's not there because that's time he doesn't have. But that doesn't disqualify his amazing feedback and work, and what he does for the community, and how well he knows the game, and how he understands the mechanics work, and how this works and that works and this works. That's how it works, right? And that's what we want you to take away. That's the whole point of what you should take away from Final Boss TV. We also bring on great community stuff and YouTubers and things like that have fun content too, and like the live stream that I do. But people have been having like this weird misunderstanding that we bring on top-end raiders to tell you how they would do it so you can do the same thing they do. That's not what it is at all. Not at all. So, and misconstruing stuff on the internet is a big problem, and that's hard to like make sure because it's like if you hear someone say something, but then like you think about it a week later, you might not have heard what they actually said, and then you'll tell someone else what you think you heard, and that's not what that actual person said, and then it propagates this entire weird circle of misinformation. So that's the whole point of the show. So, yep, it's hard. Some people think that you have to be in those top 3 or 4 guilds to like know everything about the game, and that's not even true. Not even true at the slightest.
Well, I mean, for me, it's just about people having fun. And I think
course.
I don't think that you should really tell somebody what they should be having fun with in the game. I think it's acceptable to suggest that they would have more fun in different environments with other people who find the same things fun as them. But the real core of it is, I don't think that you should tell people that they aren't allowed to be casual, and I don't think you should tell people that they aren't allowed to be hardcore. If people find something fun, then don't tell them that it doesn't matter. I mean, don't tell them that they're not allowed to have fun. You can absolutely tell them that it's not going to make a difference to their damage. That's fine. But
Right.
if that's what they find fun, that's what they find fun. Sorry, games are about having fun. So,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
I scratched his ear, Shinigara. Absolutely. Talk about having fun, and I have a giant Pikachu upside down on the wall behind me. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
But I do have a question for Ari that's a little bit
Yeah, let's get a
different.
question in here real quick, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, Ari's question here. People wanted you to talk about Bearcat DPS.
Oh God! Oh,
And I don't even know who it's from because it got brought up like a million times.
oh
so.
man! I thought I avoided Bearcat. Shit!
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Go
So
for it.
I'm just gonna parrot what I said on the Guardian episode months ago. I forget when that was. Bearcatting was broken in Cataclysm when it existed. It was removed correctly because it created a gigantic tank DPS disparity between Guardians and then Feral and everyone else. So it was removed, and it still kind of exists in Heart of the Wild, except that Cat doesn't work. You have to use caster form, and right now it doesn't matter because you can manipulate Vengeance such that you never have low enough Vengeance for Heart of the Wild DPS to be better. Anyway, but the spirit of it still exists, and now that Vengeance is dead, it'll be more important in Warlords than it is now. So it's gone. It's not coming back. I'm sorry. It was the right decision.
It is. It is.
That's
it. Is.
it.
I mean, you already have 4 specs as Druid anyway, damn it, alright? Now other classes are picking up on that too, like Warriors have 4 specs. You can argue that Shadow Priests, Priests have 4 specs now too, to a lighter degree, right? Obviously, not Guardian, but Gladiator DPS is much different than like either Dot Caster or actual Caster Shadow Priest, but still. And it's neat, I like that. But yeah, Bearcatting was abusive at the very least. So.
Oh yeah. That's why people
comments and stuff come on Twitter, and I had the good question that came in from Final. Actually, let's see one more. Here's a basic one, I guess. This is from Slanish. Yes, I am also yes. Let's say yes. Warhammer 40k. Slanish. Anyway, Death Knight question: is Blood Decay gonna be more viable in Warlords than Mist?
That's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question.
Again, we've said a couple times, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we haven't had a numbers pass, so
Yep.
it's really hard to say anything. I will say that there was a lot of people are. There's a lot of DK is weak in MOP attitude going on. I want to remind people that it's the damage output we had was what made us weak relative to monks,
Yes.
especially in tier 15.
Doing 50% extra damage they weren't supposed to be doing
Right.
on top of the weapon damage bug. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean it was bad, but that was our issue. It was damage output. So I want to, and the fact that Vengeance is going away makes tank balancing damage wise much easier on their end.
oh, yeah.
So I anticipate a much more balanced damage output across the board. With that, that we don't have dynamic AP being a thing, at least not to the extent that it was with Vengeance for sure. So without saying any numbers passes at all, I will say that just through the removal of Vengeance, we are far less likely to be in a position damage-wise where we were in Tier 15 and early Tier 16 before just the flat-out 15% monk nerf. But
I mean, there's other
Anyway.
things to that too, right? Like mastery increasing AP. Okay.
yeah, no,
well,
and also that, yes. So the fact that every stat we have is giving damage is another great balancer. So we're not
Yeah.
like monks had this earlier where all their mitigation stats gave them damage, well, with the exception of mastery, but they weren't master stat, as master dependent as we were earlier on. I mean, we could go for haste, but haste is not. It's better than avoidance, but I was never a fan of haste.
Right.
There's different styles, but that for true spike damage reduction and damage shaping, death strike timing, haste is pretty much useless. Only marginally better than avoidance, but that's a different can of worms. But yeah, so I mean that we don't have to make that choice. All of our mitigation stats give damage, and that's going to be huge to the point where, like, I'm willing to bet that we'd be much better off. Again,
Oh, yeah.
without saying numbers, it's hard to say for sure, but I think it's going to be much less of an issue.
Yeah.
100% agree.
100% agree. I think that's pretty good. That's like perfectly on time right now for the after show. I like it.
Oh, another question. For
Another
everyone.
question?
I'll
Well,
save
then
it.
go. No, go for it. That's fine.
Well, I
Bring it
just
up.
wanted to get a feel from you guys. I'm sorry, I wrote a bunch of questions down because I wasn't sure how many we would get from chat.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to get a feel from you guys about just what you think of the DPS portion of Vengeance being gone. Are you both a fan of that? This could be a really short
Yes.
answer.
Yes.
Yep,
Best
absolutely.
thing
Okay.
ever. We would ask
Okay,
for
it's
that
best
for,
thing
like, 3
ever.
expansions.
Okay, you're not gonna miss it at all.
Oh,
Nope,
that's pretty
I'm
good.
gonna make a effigy and burn it. I don't know what does Vengeance look like?
Nice.
Make an
What does Vengeance look like in an effigy?
I have no idea, man.
A tank sitting down before heroic Lei Shen.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I like that.
That's
Oh,
what it
man.
looks like.
Those
Very
sit
good,
macros.
Yeah. All right, we good then, Anna? We all set then?
Yeah, that's it. I got no other questions.
That
that
no
I
other
wrote for the
questions.
chat.
All right, let me hit this silly button over here. Thank you all so much for being here today. It was super awesome. Stuff and things have been said. Guardian Druids and Blood Death Knights are on the table again real quick. We were joined by Mr. Ariel of Bear Retirement Home. You can find him on the Twitters at ArielEJ for stuff and bear things. Do you have any big posts
So-
coming up on Inconspicuous Bear about beta stuff?
Actually, all the talking I've been doing the past couple days has kind of made me want to write down everything basically I said in this episode in like
Ooh,
words. So
nice.
probably do that tomorrow. Seeing as how it's a holiday for me.
That'd be great. Go for it. And then, of course, Reniot. Follow him on Twitter at ReniotDK for all the DK stuffs. Do you link and update like when you are posting things or like on the boards? Or just... I guess the best
I
probably goes
posted-
to go to Acarus.
Well, yeah, that's always a good place to. I'm always, even if I'm not at my computer, my character is AFK in Acura, so you can give me a PM and I'll see it when I come back.
Ooh, nice.
I'm always sitting in there. But I post stuff like when I posted my new guide that like the revamp, I posted that
Yeah.
came out, and once again, I'm gonna go back to the shameless plug. Now that I've got good internet, I'm going to start streaming full high def and can do that successfully. So I will be streaming, or I'll let a Twitch notification when I start streaming. I probably won't do much farm because everyone's tired of Siege, but I will definitely be streaming all the beta tests. So
That's good. So Blood Death Knight stuff, go to Reniot. There you go. Of course, the host of Final Boss TV is Anaphil. There she is on the Twitters.
Hey, on the Twitter,
I'm
you
sure
can follow me. Not all of the things I say will be related to WoW, but
As long as
still
there are,
hopefully interesting.
as long as there are plenty of pictures of you and or just the Fairy Dragon, we'll be good to go.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to do is do a little bit more raid testing with some of the bosses these days.
Ah,
so
yes.
yeah, we'll see about that.
We'll see about that. And of course, as my face over here, you can find all our social media links for Final Boss TV right down below. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and the website, of course. And until next week, everybody, again, we're doing melee DPS or healers next week for our beta impressions junket thing. And then the week after that, we have a special interview that you'll get more information about next week. Again, stick around. We'll be back in a couple of minutes for giveaways and stuff, and with Anna and myself. But for now, I gotta get out of here. Everyone have a great week at work. Trust in the coin. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you later, guys. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.